This is a review of the notes on the treble and bass clef and the music symbols. What we're going to be doing in this lesson, we will review the notes on the treble and the bass clef that we learned in class. We will review the values of the different notes. We will learn the notes above and below the staff, and we will learn to read a time signature and put notes in measures. If you've already done this in class, this will be a review for you. Let's review the treble clef. What do the space notes on the treble clef spell? They spell the word face. F, A, C, and E. These are your space notes because they're in between the lines. What are the lines on the treble clef? First line is E, then G, B, D, F. Notice that the line notes have a line going through the middle of the note. We remember it with every good burger deserves fries. Or we can use every good boy does fine. What do we use to help us remember the bass clef notes? These are the space notes. All cows eat grass. A, C, E, G. What do we use to help us remember the bass clef line notes? Good boys do fine always. G, B, D, F, A. Don't forget, this is the bass clef. Now, let's take the name of the note in rest that's in the second column, these notes right here, and organize it in the column beside the symbol it defines. These are our symbols. Okay? These are the notes and the rest, they go together. So we're going to move the name of the note right beside the symbols that it represents. And we'll do the same with the number of the beats. Okay? So what are these symbols? What note and rest are these? They are a whole note and a whole rest. A whole note and a whole rest have how many beats? They have 4 beats. 4 beats of sound, 4 beats of silence. Great. Now, what is this symbol? And what is this rest? That's correct. That's a half note and a half rest. The half rest looks like a hat. That's right side up. How many beats do they have? They have 2 beats. Great. What is this note? And what is this rest? Don't forget the dot. Great. Dotted half note and it's dotted half rest. How many beats are they? They are 3 beats each. Good. Got 3 more to go. What is this note and what is this rest? No, I don't need to move anything. A quarter note and a quarter rest. They are already in the right spot. How many beats are they? They are one beat each. Good job. Okay? Well, it just so happens that we've got the rest of these in the correct place. This is the eighth note and the eighth rest. They are 1/2 beat each. This is a 16th note, the 16th rest. Notice they both have 2 flags. Okay, 16th note and 16th rest are 1/4 of a beat each. Good job. Let's look at the notes above and below the staff. There are many notes that are above and below the staff. The lines and spaces that we learned were the notes that were in the staff. They were on the lines and spaces. So how do we know what the note will be when it's above the staff? Well, since we know our lines are for treble clef, E, G, B, D, and F, we just need to use them as a reference point. Since we know that the top line is F, then as you go up the staff, you're going forwards in the musical alphabet. Remember, the musical alphabet only uses the first 7 notes. They are, first 7 letters of the alphabet. They are A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So they only use those 7 letters, and there are no letters after that. So once you get to the G, you'll go right back to A, and that covers the rest of the 88 keys that are on the piano. Okay, so since we know that the top line is F, and we're going higher in the staff, higher in the staff means we're going forward in the alphabet. Okay, so we're going forward in the alphabet. So if we're going to F, the very next letter will be what? Will be G. Good. Okay, that would be the note G. Okay, now the same thing applies when you're looking at the bass clef. We know that the bass clef lines are good boys do fine always. That's on the top line. So as you go up the staff, whoop, you're going forward in the alphabet again. Okay? So we're going up the staff, we're going forward, and so if you're going forward in the alphabet, what comes after A? You are correct, B. So this note on top of the staff and bass clef will be note B because it comes after A, which is on the line. Okay? So let's look at the notes that are below the staff. Okay, as you go down the staff, from high up going down to the bottom of the staff, you're going backwards in the alphabet. This is going backwards. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. That's backwards. So let's find the line or space that's closest to this note here. It's this line. This line is E. So we're going backwards in the alphabet. So what comes before E? D. So that's the note D. Okay? Same thing here. If you're going down the staff and bass clef, you're going backwards in the alphabet. So let's find the line that's closest to this note. G. Now, since this note is lower than G, we're going backwards in the alphabet. So if we're going backwards from G, we're going to F. Very good. So this is note F in bass clef. Okay? Now, these two notes over here are very special notes. Okay? They have a line that goes through the middle of them. This line is called a ledger line. Okay? A ledger line. Ledgerline. Ledger line. Okay? A ledger line extends the staff either higher or lower so that we can put more notes on the line, on the staff. Because it would be very confusing if we had lots and lots of lines to cover all the 88 keys that are on the piano. So we're just limited to these 5 lines and 4 spaces for treble and bass clef. But if we want to represent the other notes that are higher or lower than these notes and that are not touching the staff like these were, then we have to add a ledger line for each level that we want to have below the staff or above the staff. So we will still figure it out the same way. This one is 1 ledger line below the treble clef. This is D. We're still going backwards because it's lower than D. So if we go backwards from D, what do we get? We get C. Very good. Okay? Same thing here. This is another ledger line. This is 1 ledger line above the bass clef. So it is 1 level higher than B. So if you're going up the staff or going higher in the staff, you're going forwards in the alphabet. So going forwards from B takes us to C. Very good. Now these two C's here are the exact same pitch. They are middle C. They are the C that is closest to the middle of the piano. But it's also, if you notice, in the middle, in between the grand staff. So these two are the same pitch. These two are shared by both the treble clef and the bass clef. Okay, let's move the whole note to the correct line or space. If it has a flat sign or sharp sign, we're going to put it in front of the note. Okay, remember in class we talked about sharps and flats. A sharp, which is this symbol here, raises the note. It raises it a half step. It makes the note higher when you raise the note. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, this is the sharp sign. Okay, this is a flat sign. It lowers the note by a half step. And when it lowers the note, the letter name doesn't change. It is the same letter name because it hasn't gone to a completely whole step which changes the letter. So this is how this will work. Here's a G. We want to put a whole note on G, and since this note doesn't have a sharp sign or a flat sign after it, then we will leave the note the way it is. That is what G will look like on the staff. Let's find D. Every good boy does. Very good. Okay, let's find E flat. First, find the E. So we'll use this E here. And I'm moving it slightly to the right so I can show you something. Now, we take the flat sign that is named in the E flat and we move it in front of the E. so that when the musician reads the note, he knows or she knows that the note coming after that flat sign is going to be lowered a half step. Okay, so let's look at the E. We have several E's. We can use this E. We can use this E. I'm going to use this E. Oops. There we go. First line. So we have F. Ooh, that's the first letter of in the word face. F-A-C-E. Or every good boy does fine. So I have two places I can put it. I'm going to put it on the top line for right now. So there's my F. Now we need F sharp. So first we'll find F. I'm going to use the first space F now. And then I'm putting my sharp sign because I'm going to raise that note a half step. F sharp. Let's find C. Here's C. And you're right, C sharp. Sharp goes in front. Okay? Now, let's find just plain old C natural. C natural has nothing in front of it. So it'll just be good old C. Okay? What about B? Okay, so there's B. And the last one, D. Let's use the D that's not on the fourth line. Let's use one of our new notes, D. So we know that E is here. If you go backwards one level, you have D. So we'll put D right down here. Great, so there's our treble clef. So let's look at our bass clef notes. Okay, they work the same way. We just have to remember the lines and spaces. So we have good, boys, do, fine, always. Good, boys, and since it has a flat in front of it, I'm going to put a flat sign in front of my B to make it a B flat. Okay, D. Good, boys, do. There we go. Do. Okay. Let's do D flat. Same line, but we're going to put a what in front of it? Flat sign. Good. Okay. E flat. All cows eat. All cows eat. And we need a flat sign there. So I'm going to make a little space. And notice that I'm putting the flats and the sharps on the exact same line and space that the note is on. Okay? Notice that if it's on a space, the middle of the sharp sign or the middle of the flat sign is in that same space. If it is on a line, the middle of the flat sign or the middle of the sharp sign is going to be on that same line as the note. Okay? So now this one is just good old E natural. So we're going to put that one right here. And now we have G. So we can do what? We have two G's we can choose. Good, boys, do, fine, always. Or all cows eat grass. Okay, so let's put this G right here. Okay, and let's see. Good, boys, do, fine. Good. And F sharp. So there's my F, and there's my sharp sign. Okay, G flat. All, say good. Let's use this one down here. We already used the other G. So good, and our flat sign goes right in front. Two more. C sharp. All cows. And our sharp sign for the C sharp goes right there. And A, we have two. All cows eat grass. Good boys do fine always. Let's do this one. And this is A natural. Good. So those are our lines and spaces with sharps and flats. You will see some of that in your music. Okay, we're almost done with the review. So, time signatures. Time signatures are two numbers on top of each other that tells us two things: the number of beats in a measure and that the quarter note receives one beat. The top number of the time signature tells us the number of beats are in a measure. The bottom number of the time signature, if it's a 4, tells us that the quarter note receives one beat. Okay, top number, number of beats in a measure. Bottom number, quarter note receives one beat. That 4 on the bottom means the quarter note receives one beat. Okay, now when we have a time signature, we have to have something to divide our beats up, because if we have a number of beats in a measure, we have to have what? Well, we have to have measures. Okay, so first we need to create measures. So we have what we call a bar line. This bar line divides the staff up into segments. Okay, it divides the staff up into segments. And inside of those segments, we call those measures, the space in between. This is a measure, and this is a measure. We'll just add another bar line here, just for fun. And you always end the song off with a double bar line. That tells you you're at the end of the song. Double bar line. There we go. So now we have 3 measures. 1, 2, 3. And 3 measures in a bass clef. 1, 2, 3. The spaces in between the 2 bar lines is always called a measure. It measures out the number of beats that our time signature says we must have. Okay, so we can place notes in here different ways, but make sure that the number of beats of the notes equal to the number of beats the time signature says they must have. In this case is 4. So we could have a whole note in beat 1, because that's 4 beats. 4 beats. We could have 2 half notes, because they are 2 beats each. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Or we could have 4 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's 4 beats there, because the quarter note is 1 beat each. Okay? You also, if you have rests inside the measure, you also have to count those. So, for example, in this measure, I'm going to put a whole rest. A whole rest is 4 beats, so it takes up the whole measure, because 4 is our top of our time signature. Or I could put in, say, a half note and a half rest. Half rest is 2 beats. Half note is 2 beats. So we have 4 beats. Or you could have a dotted half note. That's 3 beats. You could have a quarter note. That's 1 beat. So 3 plus 1 is 4. And you can have all kinds of combinations of notes and rests like we have down here. Just long as when you add the beats together, they equal to 4. Okay? Well, I hope this helps you review. Feel free to review anytime. That'll get you ready for that test. So you all have a good day, and I will see you in class. Goodbye.